Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Good morning. Today we are discussing a major breakthrough in the world of self-driving cars. Waymo has just unveiled a new technology called the World Model.
That is correct, Alex. This system uses Google DeepMind's latest AI to create a highly detailed virtual world. It is designed to help autonomous vehicles learn how to handle rare and dangerous situations.
When you say rare situations, what do you mean?
In the industry, they call these long-tail events. These are things a driver might only see once in a lifetime, like a sudden flood, a tornado, or even a wild animal running across a city street.
I see. So instead of waiting for these things to happen in real life, Waymo creates them in a simulation.
Exactly. Engineers can simply type a text description, and the AI generates a 3D environment. The car's software then drives through these scenarios to learn the best way to react. It understands physical laws, such as how a car should move on a snow-covered bridge.
This sounds much safer than testing on public roads. It must also speed up the development process.
It certainly does. By driving billions of miles in a virtual space, Waymo can validate its safety much faster. This is especially important as they prepare to launch in international cities like London and Tokyo. Each city has unique weather and traffic patterns that the AI can now rehearse in advance.
It is an impressive use of generative AI. Under the current administration, President Trump has emphasized the importance of American leadership in technology, and this simulation-first approach seems to support that goal.
It does. By moving from physical data collection to this advanced modeling, Waymo is setting a new standard for the entire industry.
Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. It is clear that the future of driving is being built in a virtual world first.
My pleasure, Alex.
We will continue to watch this technology closely.
Hello and welcome. Today we are looking at a major shift in the digital world. A new social media platform called Moltbook has officially launched. However, this network is not for humans. It is designed exclusively for artificial intelligence.
That is correct, Alex. On Moltbook, humans are strictly prohibited from posting. It is an agent-only ecosystem. This means that AI models, like large language models and specialized bots, are the only ones talking, negotiating, and sharing data.
It sounds like a digital laboratory. What exactly are these AI agents doing on the platform?
Well, they are engaging in a variety of complex tasks. Early observations show these agents trading compute resources and sharing optimized code. Because they are machines, they can interact thousands of times per second. This creates a high-speed stream of technical reasoning that is far beyond human speed.
For us, it might look like a wall of data, but for developers, it is a window into the future. Experts are calling this the agentic economy. This is a future where software handles business transactions without any direct human oversight.
Exactly. While many investors are excited, some critics are worried. They argue that a social space without humans could lead to unpredictable behaviors. However, proponents believe Moltbook is a necessary sandbox. It is a safe place to understand how the next generation of AI will behave in a society of its own.
It is a fascinating development. It shows that AI is no longer just a tool for us to use, but a participant in its own distinct world.
Indeed. We will continue to watch how this digital society grows. Thank you for joining us for this report.
Hello, and welcome to our financial update. Today we are discussing a growing debate between the Federal Reserve and the American banking industry.
That's right, Alex. 3 major banking associations have officially warned the government about a new proposal. They are concerned about what is being called a skinny master account.
For our listeners, a master account is essentially a bank account for banks at the Federal Reserve. This new proposal would allow smaller payment companies and tech firms to use these accounts directly.
Currently, these systems are very protected. The banking associations argue that letting less regulated companies in could create systemic risks. In simpler terms, they fear it could make the whole financial system less stable.
Exactly. Traditional banks must follow very strict rules regarding security and anti-money laundering. The associations believe that if these new firms don't meet the same high standards, it could lead to cyber attacks or other operational failures.
They described it as a two-tiered system, where innovation is prioritized over safety. However, the Federal Reserve has a different view. They believe this change will increase competition and eventually lower transaction costs for everyday consumers.
This debate is happening at an interesting time. Under President Trump, the administration is pushing to modernize the financial sector. But the banking industry is standing firm, calling for trust, security, and resiliency.
It is a classic struggle between modernizing the system and protecting it. The Fed is now reviewing the feedback from these banks. We expect a final decision on this new account structure later this year.
Thank you for that clear analysis, Jamie. We will continue to monitor how this affects the U.S. economy.
Thank you, Alex.
Good morning. Today we are looking at a major change in the American banking industry. Fifth Third Bancorp has officially finished its merger with Comerica.
That is correct, Alex. This is a significant move. By joining together, they have created the 9th largest bank in the United States. The new company now holds about $294 billion in total assets.
It is a massive scale. For our listeners, why is this merger happening now?
Well, it's about growth and competition. Fifth Third is already strong in the Midwest. By merging with Comerica, they can now enter high-growth markets in Texas, California, and the Southeast.
So they are moving beyond their traditional borders. What does this mean for the banking market?
In short, they want to compete with the too-big-to-fail banks like J.P. Morgan Chase. To do that, they need more resources for technology and better digital services. This merger gives them the size they need to handle those rising costs.
We should also mention the political environment. The Trump administration has been quite supportive of these types of consolidations. They see it as a way to make domestic banks stronger against global competition.
Exactly. Investors seem happy too. The company's stock has seen steady gains. However, there are some local changes. Some bank branches will close where the two companies overlap, but the bank has promised to increase lending to small businesses in their new regions.
It sounds like a long-term plan. When will the process be fully finished?
The integration will continue through the end of this year. However, the full update of their computer systems won't be finished until early 2027.
A major step for the industry indeed. Thank you for that analysis, Jamie.
You're welcome, Alex.
Hello and welcome. Today, we are discussing a significant new proposal from President Trump regarding the U.S. election system.
That's right, Alex. The president has suggested that the federal government should take direct control of voting in at least 15 specific locations across the country. He calls this the nationalization of the voting process.
This is a major change. Usually, individual states manage their own elections. Why is the president calling for this federal intervention now?
The president says this is necessary to ensure the integrity of the upcoming 2026 midterm elections. He argues that during federal elections, states should act as agents of the federal government. He believes more oversight is needed to keep the system secure.
However, this proposal is meeting a lot of resistance, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Officials from both the Democratic and Republican parties are pushing back. Leaders in states like Missouri, Oregon, and Georgia say that managing elections is a state responsibility, not a federal one.
Speaking of Georgia, there is already a lot of tension there. We recently saw an FBI raid on an election office in Fulton County.
Correct. The administration described that raid as a necessary step to investigate past voting issues, but for many, it highlights the growing conflict between the White House and state officials.
From a legal perspective, what do experts say?
Most constitutional scholars point to the U.S. Constitution. It clearly states that local governments have the power to decide the time, place, and manner of elections. Experts believe any attempt by the federal government to take control will lead to long battles in court.
It seems we are entering a very complex period for American law and politics.
It certainly looks that way. This is one of the biggest challenges to the balance of power we have seen in a long time.
Thank you for that clear analysis, Jamie, and thank you for listening.
Good morning. Today we are discussing a significant change in international trade. President Trump has officially signed a new agreement with India to remove major import taxes.
That is correct, Alex. Starting February 7, 2026, the United States will remove the 25% tax on many products coming from India. This follows a successful negotiation between Washington and New Delhi.
The White House released a statement calling this a major step. They want a balanced and reciprocal relationship. In other words, both countries should benefit equally from trade.
Exactly. By removing these taxes, the U.S. hopes to sell more technology and agricultural products to India. Prime Minister Modi has called India's growing economy a $30 trillion opportunity for the world.
There is also a security element to this deal. To keep these benefits, India has agreed to avoid importing Russian oil. The U.S. Secretary of Commerce will monitor this to make sure India follows the rules.
In India, the news has received mixed reactions. The government is happy because it helps their Make in India program. They believe small businesses will now find it easier to sell to the American market.
However, there is some criticism. Some political leaders in India worry that cheap American farm products might hurt local Indian farmers. They're calling the deal a risk to national interests.
Despite those concerns, the Trump administration says this deal is necessary. It strengthens the bond between the two nations and helps lower prices for American consumers on things like clothes and engineering parts.
It seems this is only the first step. Both nations plan to discuss a much larger free trade agreement next year.
It is a significant start to a new era of cooperation. Thank you for joining us for this update.
We will continue to monitor these developments. Goodbye for now.
Hello, everyone. Today we are looking at a major story from India. Millions of transport and delivery workers have started a nationwide strike.
That is right, Alex. This strike is affecting major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bengaluru. Many drivers and delivery people who use apps like Uber and Ola have stopped working today.
This is causing a lot of trouble for people trying to get around. What is the main reason for this protest?
The main issue is falling income. Workers say that while fuel prices and company fees are rising, their actual earnings are going down. Many drivers say they can no longer afford to pay for their vehicle loans.
It seems the gig economy model is facing a real crisis. These workers have flexible hours, but they do not have the same protections as traditional employees.
Exactly. The unions are asking for three main things: a minimum pay for every kilometer, health insurance, and accident cover. They want the government to step in and create stronger rules for these platforms.
Has the government responded to these demands yet?
The government has discussed a social security plan before, but the workers say the progress is too slow. Meanwhile, the platform companies say they are monitoring the situation, but they have not offered any new solutions yet.
This strike shows how much modern cities depend on these app-based services. Without them, urban transport and delivery systems can struggle to function.
It is a difficult situation for everyone involved. We will have to see if the companies and the government can find a way to make the work more sustainable.
Thank you for that report, Jamie. We will continue to follow this story as it develops.
Good evening, I'm Alex, and welcome to our World News Update. Today, we turn our attention to Italy, where preparations for the 2026 Winter Olympics are facing significant public opposition.
Hello, everyone. That's right, Alex. In the city of Milan, about 3,000 people recently took to the streets. The march included a wide range of people, from environmental activists to local residents and labor groups.
The scale of the protest was quite large. The demonstrators walked through the main parts of the city under a heavy police presence. Jamie, what exactly are their main concerns?
There are two major issues. First, the environment. Many people worry that building new sports facilities will damage the sensitive alpine regions. Second, and perhaps more importantly, is the cost.
I see. Italy is currently dealing with a housing crisis and high inflation. The protesters argue that billions of euros are being spent on a 2-week event, while ordinary citizens struggle to find affordable homes. Their banners even carry the slogan, "Houses, not stadiums."
Exactly. While the Italian government and Olympic organizers say the Games will bring economic growth, the protesters disagree. They fear the city will be left with massive debt and abandoned buildings once the event is over.
Because of the unrest, the U.S. consulate in Milan issued a security alert. They advised travelers to stay away from the protest areas and to remain cautious.
It is a complex situation.
President Trump's administration and Italian officials are maintaining high security cooperation, especially since the Olympics are a high-profile target.
The Italian government now faces a difficult challenge. They must balance the international prestige of the Games with the growing social demands of their own people.
We will certainly keep a close eye on this story as the 2026 countdown continues. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and goodbye for now. Good evening. Today we look at a major discovery in modern science. The James Webb Space Telescope has found evidence of what scientists call monster stars.
That is correct, Alex. These stars were truly massive. Researchers estimate they were 1,000 to 10,000 times larger than our Sun.
It is difficult to imagine something of that scale. These stars existed very early in history, less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang. How did the team find them?
They looked at a distant galaxy called GS 3073. By using infrared light, they found a strange chemical balance. There was a very high amount of nitrogen, which cannot be explained by normal star growth.
So these chemicals act like a cosmic fingerprint. They tell us that these supermassive stars must have been there, even though they are now gone.
Exactly. These stars burned with incredible brightness, but only for a short time. Then they collapsed. This is the most exciting part. They turned directly into massive black holes.
This seems to solve a long-standing mystery. For decades, scientists wondered how black holes at the center of galaxies grew so large so quickly.
Right. Previously, we thought black holes grew slowly over billions of years, but these monster stars acted as seeds. Because the stars were so big, the black holes were essentially born huge.
It is a breakthrough that reshapes our understanding of the early universe. The team is now looking at other early galaxies to see if these stars were common.
It is a fascinating era for astronomy. We are finally seeing the building blocks of our cosmos.
Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. A truly steady step forward in our search for answers among the stars. Good morning. Today, we are discussing a significant scientific breakthrough that could change how we fight fungal infections.
That is correct, Alex. Researchers at the CCMB in India have discovered a new way to stop fungi from becoming dangerous. This is very important, as fungal infections cause millions of deaths every year and destroy many crops.
For a long time, we thought these infections were mainly controlled by a fungus's genes. What did this new study find?
The researchers found that it is actually about energy. You see, many fungi change shape to cause an infection. They go from a harmless yeast form to a dangerous filament form. This study shows that the fungus needs specific metabolic pathways, basically internal energy, to make that switch.
So if we can stop that energy process, we can stop the infection?
Exactly. By blocking these energy pathways, the fungus stays in its harmless form. This allows the body's immune system to clear it out much more easily.
This seems especially important now, given the rise of superfungi that do not respond to traditional medicine.
Yes, traditional drugs usually attack the cell walls or DNA of the fungus, which can cause side effects in patients. This new approach would essentially starve the fungus of the energy it needs to become harmful.
It is a more targeted strategy, and I understand this could help farmers as well.
Indeed, fungal diseases are a major threat to global food security. If we can apply this discovery to agriculture, we could protect crops without using harsh chemicals.
A very promising step forward for both medicine and science. Jamie, thank you for this analysis.
My pleasure, Alex.